Thank you, Mr. President. As I said during my last speech from this well, there's often a price to be paid for telling the truth. Well, I rise today to discuss an ugly and frankly shocking episode that occurred on Thursday following my speech from this well. Perhaps you're familiar with the phrase, "the hit dog hollers." For those of you who are not, it means that if your criticism hits home because it is true, the object of that criticism will loudly object. Well, I got an earful of the hit dog hollering on Thursday afternoon. Shortly after delivering my speech Thursday, while speaking to someone in the hallway right outside this Senate chamber, I was accosted by the Speaker's legal counsel, who used language that I cannot and will not repeat in the well of this Senate. His public and profane rant was clearly designed to deliver a message: keep your mouth shut. Now I like to think of our legislature as a marketplace of ideas. We're bringing forward policies we think are best for Georgia, and we're not shy about stating which policies we think are not. The gentleman who subjected me to this profanity-laced tirade works for arguably one of the most powerful people in this General Assembly. As he had reminded me, he had just secured a unanimous vote to pass the bill that I had criticized. So why would he seek to come over and bark at me? The only tool I have is to speak forthrightly to the people of this state and my colleagues from this well. The answer is simply this: he could not tolerate a single dissenting voice in the wilderness. No action that tears away the facade he and others have meticulously tried to create will be allowed. And so, if it takes a profane dressing down in the hallway to silence those voices, so be it. It is important to note that this episode occurred moments after the Speaker himself delivered a speech in which he said, and I quote, "There are two approaches we can take when it comes to issues of great significance like the one we're considering today. We can draw arbitrary lines in the sand, we can lash out at those who oppose us and remain intractable, or we can seek out common ground and build trust and move forward together." Now I take the Speaker at his word. So does having your top attorney call me names and upbraid me for daring to have a different point of view, is that an example of seeking out common ground and building trust? Or is it an example of lashing out at those with whom we disagree? Now, I can't believe that this visit by the Speaker's counsel was sanctioned. I would hope he is as dismayed by this grotesque breach of our rules as anyone. If I had treated another member of the body on the floor of this Senate that way, I would be subjected to censure, and rightfully so. An attorney would know this same kind of conduct in front of a court would lead to sanctions, including perhaps imprisonment for contempt of court. But to be clear, the Speaker's counsel is not an elected member of either chamber, but a taxpayer-funded staff member who's supposed to be serving the people of this state. Let me also be clear, this is not an isolated incident. Over the last few days, I've been made aware of multiple instances of this individual threatening legislators and using profane and vulgar language in doing so. I asked myself over the weekend what I would do if confronted with a similar situation, and the answer was clear. We cannot tolerate a toxic culture where members do not even feel comfortable expressing their views. Georgia is better than this. The Speaker's counsel should apologize, not to me, but to this Senate body for his profane, rude, and totally unjustified conduct. He should resign his position immediately. Taxpayers should not be subsidizing the intimidation of elected members of this body. If he refuses, then the Speaker should immediately dismiss him with apologies to the Senate. If this is not done, then we will witness the ratifying of this conduct by one of the most powerful Republican leaders in our state. Now, I've spoken many times before about the crisis of confidence voters have in our institutions of government. If they witness that a man who is making his living on the backs of taxpayers shows such breathtaking disrespect for our legislative process and the civility of our institution and faces no consequence, we can expect that crisis of confidence to reach a new level. Georgia is not some third world banana republic where there are street fights between legislators and where threats are made as a matter of course. We need to clean up a culture that allows members of either body to be threatened by staff, punished for speaking out, or voting their conscience. We can begin that process with a swift resolution of this matter. A final note, since there still seems to be some confusion on this point, I will not be silenced. I will not be intimidated on speaking on behalf of the Georgians I represent. Further attempts to do so will be met with swift and public condemnation. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.